everyone, and welcome to episode 40 of the Knitty Heather podcast. My name is Heather, and I'm coming to you from Kent, Washington, where I live with my husband Tom and our Cavalier King Charles Spaniel Pepper. This is my podcast where I chat about mostly knitting, everything that I am working on, and I also love to feature amazing makers, whether they are yarn dyers, pattern designers, or makers of other accessories. Anyone who adds to the beauty of our fiber community. If you are a new viewer, welcome. I'm so happy that you found me. I hope you enjoy yourself. And if you are a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back. I really, truly appreciate it. If you would like to follow me, I am at Knitty Heather on Instagram, and I would love to connect with you there. All of the yarn and patterns and accessories I talk about in this podcast will be listed and linked in the description box below. Today is Monday, October 18th, 2021, and I have a lot to tell you about, so let's get started. Today, in honor of the Shawlography Mystery Knit-Along, I am wearing my Pearl Ridge scarf by Stephen West. This is the first and only Stephen West pattern I have done so far, and it's a very simple, beautiful pattern with mostly stockinette and then pearl ridges, as the name would imply, every so often. I really think this shows off a beautiful yarn very well. I believe I used Malabrigo worsted. I can't remember the colorway, but I believe it was Malabrigo worsted that I used for this pattern. This was one of the first patterns I actually followed and knit up probably back in 2012. I really love it with all these colors in this yarn. It goes with a lot of different tops, and it is super easy to wear. I looked up this pattern and it was released in February 2010. So it is definitely one of his earlier and less intimidating patterns out there. Check out the Pearl Ridge scarf by Stephen West. Today I am also wearing a pair of socks from Turtle Pearl on Etsy. This was a sock set called Bewitching that came with two identical 50-gram half skeins of self-striping yarn and a green mini to match the green stripes in the yarn. I used the mini for the toes and heels. These are plain vanilla socks that were knit toe up with a fish lips kiss heel and about 15 rounds of a 2x2 rib for the cuff. Next, I would like to talk about a brand new pattern that was released a couple weeks ago by one of my local knitting friends, Cindy Roth. It is called the Boo Cowl. I'll insert a picture up here. It is super fun, perfect for Halloween, a really simple and beautiful color work design. She gives you options to knit different sizes. You can make it more of a neck warmer, a cowl, or an infinity scarf, depending on how many times you repeat the color work. This pattern provides a chart to work the color work from, and I really would love to cast this on maybe for next Halloween. Endless possibilities with different color combinations with blacks and yellows and oranges, or even a variegated or speckled yarn thrown in there somewhere would be super fun. Please check out the Boo Cowl by Cindy Roth. Now on to my finished objects. I have two half-finished pairs of socks and a bunch of my little baby socks to show you today. First is my Witch Please sock. This is a vanilla sock using the colorway Witch Please by Knitted Wit. I did 20 rounds of a 2x2 rib. I did 45 rounds of the leg, and then on the 46th round I started the shadow wrap heel from the Socksploration pattern by Denise DeSantis, or Earth Tones Girl. And then I worked about 50 rounds down the foot before I did a rounded toe. I really love this colorway. It looks just like candy corn to me, perfect for this time of year. I knit these on 9-inch circulars, except for the heel I did switch to 32-inch circulars for magic loop. I do have the cuff cast on for sock number 2, so I am looking forward to continuing to work down the leg and do my second shadow wrap heel. This is the first pattern that I've done the shadow wrap heel, and I really loved it. I highly recommend that pattern if you haven't checked it out yet. This is the Socksploration pattern by Denise DeSantis, Earth Tones Girl, knit up in Witch Please by Knitted Wit. Next, I have sock number 1 of my New York socks. This was the last pattern that was released by Mina Phillip, the knitting expat, as part of her Around the World in 8 Socks collection. I really love this beautiful lace work. Here, I'll kind of turn it so you can see it a little bit closer. Kind of some beautiful diamonds, some lacy work to remind you of the buildings, especially like the Chrysler building in New York City. The yarn I used was Lolo Did It, one of her sock sets from her Downton Abbey Upstairs and Downstairs collection. The contrasting mini is called Wonderful Things, and the main color is called Only Girl in the World. I think they go really well together. Kind of reminds me of concrete, really gritty New York. Perfect color combination. I did 20 rounds of the ribbing that she calls for in the pattern. I did 2 pattern repeats for the leg, and then I did a German short row heel just in plain stockinette. I did 2 more pattern repeats for the foot, and I did the rounded wedge toe that she calls for in the pattern. This is my first New York sock by Mina Phillip. This is the last pattern from her Around the World in 8 Socks collection, knit up in Lolo Did It, Wonderful Things, and Only Girl in the World. Last, I'd like to show a few more of my mini socks that I have been knitting. I am knitting my cousin's baby a set of little mini socks for his first Christmas coming up that they can use as an advent calendar for him in the future. Whatever they want to use these for, even if he just wants to play with them the first couple years, that is totally fine with me. But here are a few more of these that I did. I am following the mini sock pattern by Sue Stokes of Legacy Fiber Arts, and I am using the leftovers from my 2020 Legacy Fiber Arts Advent. This is a really fun, simple pattern. This would even be a good way to kind of dive into sock knitting if you haven't ever knit a sock before. Try a little mini sock like this because the techniques are all the same. She has you do a little mini heel flap and gusset, and I did chain 30 on a crochet hook to add a little loop inside the cuff so they can hang these. These are 7 more little sock ornaments following the mini sock pattern by Sue Stokes, knit up in leftovers from my 2020 Advent from Legacy Fiber Arts. Now on to my works in progress. The first is in my sock monkey bag from MLD Threads on Etsy. And they are my October socks for the 7th annual Desert Vista Dye Works Monthly Sock Club. This is in the colorway Zombody DeVille. I have my Cruella Progress Keeper from Fangirl Fibers. And I am just doing these plain stockinette, just knitting. I marked for my afterthought heel. So now I am just continuing to knit up the leg. I did start these 2 at a time, toe up. Here's what the yarn looks like in the cake. And she also included this cute little Dalmatian mini, perfect for Cruella socks, that I used for the toe, and then I will use the mini for the cuff and my afterthought heels as well. So I just have a few more stripes to continue working up the leg. I do want to work up to one of these next red stripes, so there'll be a nice contrast when I switch to the Dalmatian spotted mini for the cuff. I love all these zombie stripes though with the speckles. There's kind of a gray, purple, and green stripe. I never get tired of using Desert Vista Dye Works or any self-striping yarn. This is a pair of vanilla socks that will have an afterthought heel, knit up in Zombody DeVille by Desert Vista Dye Works. Next, I'd like to tell you about a new cast on. This is my Autumn Rainbow Connection sock so far. Knit out of the Autumn Rainbow sock set by Desert Vista Dye Works. She gives you 2 50-gram half skeins to do this pattern. This pattern is by Kay Litton. It's called the Rainbow Connection Socks, and it is so much fun to do. This is the 4th pair. I started with the winter pair, I did a spring, and then finished the summer pair recently. Now I am on to the autumn pair. My rainbow cupcake progress keeper is from Bluebird Miniatures on Etsy, and I have it in my knitting chickens bag from Bags by Awesome Granny on Etsy. Here is what the yarn looks like in the cake. It's kind of like a light wheaty color, and then the rainbow self-striping. I still am really enjoying this pattern. I am looking forward to finishing this first sock and hopefully finishing the whole pair by the end of the year. This is the Rainbow Connection sock by Kay Litton, the Crazy Sock Lady, knit up in the Autumn Rainbow Sock Set by Desert Vista Dye Works. I have a couple more new cast-ons to tell you about. The first is my Sanderson Sisters sock. I have a cute witch hat progress keeper from Clay Cannon on Etsy. I'm using my Knitter's Pride Zings 32-inch needles. I haven't used these for a while, but I'm enjoying working with them. This is the yarn. It's called Sanderson Sisters by Hugh Loco. It is on her 80/20 merino sock base. And I have it in my brand new Sanderson Sisters project bag from Molly Klein Designs on Etsy. How cute is that? Absolutely love it. It's a zipper top with a little leather zipper pull. Super fun. Absolutely love this bag. And of course it's perfect for a Sanderson Sisters project. It is vanilla, but I am following a pattern for this. This is going to be the Toe Up Gusset Socks by Stacey Perry of Very Pink Knits. I started with Judy's Magic Cast On for Toe Up, and then she will eventually have you do a gusset and heel turn and everything working toe up. I have knit this pattern before a couple times and it's a lot of fun. It's kind of cool working a gusset that direction because they are really nice fitting socks usually with a gusset. I think this yarn is working up absolutely beautifully, and it certainly has the colors of the Three Witches capes from the movie I just recently watched, the movie Hocus Pocus again with the Sanderson sisters, and it is still so great. It's absolutely one of my favorite Halloween movies. So I have a few more inches up the foot to finish, and then I will start the gusset increases. I'm really enjoying this project so far, and I'm hoping to finish this first sock pretty soon so I can cast on sock number 2. This is the Toe Up Gusset Sock by Stacey Perry, knit up in the Sanderson Sisters by Hugh Loco. My last new sock cast on is going to be a gift for my mom's birthday next month. I'm going to make her a pair of shorty socks. I just finished the cuff. This little ghost progress keeper was from Clay Cannon. She actually threw it in as a freebie. Thank you so much, Jessica, in my last order I made from her. The yarn is called Pass the Sweet Potatoes by Hypnotic Yarn. This was her Yarnable colorway from, I think, November 2019. This was actually the first Yarnable I purchased. I hadn't become a member of the club yet, but she posted that she had some extra boxes with this colorway in it, and I really wanted to snag one. So I was able to do that before I even became a Yarnable member. And I have this in my other brand new project bag from Molly Klein Designs with the Peanuts Thanksgiving. Snoopy and Charlie Brown and Woodstock. I love this bag too. I am working these up on a size 1 2.25 millimeter magic loop. I'm using my ChiaoGoo interchangeable needles right here. Normally I use a size 2 2.75 for my kind of wider feet, but her feet are a little smaller. A size 1 will work best for her. I hope she really loves these. When I talked about the last pair of shorties I made over the summer, she's like, you know, I really love shorty socks. So I said, okay, I'll take the hint. I'll make you some shorty socks. So here is the beginning of her first sock. Because they're shorties, I'm not too worried about finishing these in time for her birthday, but hopefully I will be able to do that. This will be a vanilla shorty sock using Pass the Sweet Potatoes by Hypnotic Yarn. My last sock I have to tell you about is my new sleeping sock. I am using the DK Vanilla Sock Pattern by Kay Litton, the Crazy Sock Lady. This Ghost Progress Keeper is from Sweet Cherry on Etsy, and I have it in my knit sock sack by Mrs. Brown's Bags. The yarn I'm using for this is called Autumn Staple by Rainier Roses Yarn. So beautiful. I absolutely love how this is knitting up. Very, very nice. I did the heel flap and turn and picked up the gusset stitches. I did 10 rounds of 2x2 rib and 30 rounds of the leg. I think I will probably do about 30 to 35 rounds after the gusset decreases. I'll have to measure because this is the first time I've done this pattern, but I'm really enjoying it. I am doing the medium size. And I can't wait to have another pair of sleeping socks off the needles. This is only the first one, so I still have sock number 2 to do. But with it being DK'd, they do knit up very quickly. This is the DK Weight Vanilla Sock Pattern by Kay Litton, the Crazy Sock Lady, knit up in Autumn Staple by Rainier Roses Yarn Co. Next is a brand new hat cast on. I decided to jump on the bandwagon and knit up a Musselburgh hat. This is a pattern by Ysolda Teague. It's very popular right now. And I have it in my Retro Disney project bag from Bags by Awesome Granny. And here it is so far. If you're not familiar with the pattern, you do start way at the top with very few stitches and knit a big long tube, then decrease at the bottom. So you basically end up with like a football shape, and then you fold one end into the other to make the hat double thick. The other really great thing about this pattern is that it will work for just about any weight yarn. She gives you guidance for stitch count and how long to make the hat based on what kind of gauge you are getting and what kind of yarn you're using. I am using fingering weight. And this yarn is called Hippo for Thanksgiving by Lolo Did It. Very delicately and beautifully speckled with some nice Thanksgiving colors. I am using ChiaoGoo 16-inch circulars on a size 3 needle. And my progress keeper is an iced Starbucks beverage because I am knitting this for my mother-in-law who is in the middle of moving to a much colder and windier climate. I thought she might enjoy having a nice warm hat, and she really loves Frappuccino, so this Starbucks Progress Keeper makes me think of her. Here's kind of what the top looks like with the increases at the crown. And I just have miles and miles of stockinette to knit at this point before I start decreasing. It really is a very fun, comforting knit. I've loved how everybody's has been turning out that I've been seeing online and in my Discord groups. They're so beautiful. So I really had to join in the fun and cast one on as well. I do hope to be able to send this to her before it gets super cold. Hopefully I will have a little bit more progress to show you next time we talk. But if you are looking for a really fun hat pattern, check this one out. It really is a good one. It's a little bit of a tricky cast on with so few stitches, but once you get the first few rounds, you kind of are able to start flying. So really once you get through that very beginning tricky part, it's all easy from there. This is a Musselburgh Hat by Ysolda Teague, knit up in Hippo for Thanksgiving by Lolo Did It. The last thing I have to show you today is the progress on my Shawlography Mystery Knit Along by Stephen West. I am only about halfway through section 2. I definitely am not keeping up with it, but I wasn't expecting to, so it's all good. So if you don't want to see any spoilers up to section 2 of the first clue, go ahead and end this video. Thank you so much for stopping by. I really appreciate it. But if you do want to see where I'm at on my shawl, please continue watching. Okay, so from here on out, I will show a spoiler. First, let me show you my yarn. My color A is Uru Yarn Scoot Sock in the colorway Berry Bright. Next is Lolo Did It in Blue Suede Shoes. This is my color B. Color C is Trilogy Yarns Glamorous Base in the colorway Whiskey. My color C is Knitology Super Sock in Giboo Moon. This really pretty light blue color. And my last color is this light green. It is Knit Picks Stroll Fingering in the colorway Matcha. So here's the last warning if you don't want to see section 2 of clue 1. Most people, I think, are far past it. Here it is. First, let's talk about this adorable Scarecrow Progress Keeper from Clay Cannon. How cute is he? So right now I am working on these wedges. I have done 6 of them and I have 3 more to do. I believe in my blue, green, and whiskey color. I have 3 more of those. These little wedges have been so fun to do. Here's what my work looks like on the back. You can kind of see the color scheme a little bit better. I've got all my ends tucked in with the Weave and Steven. That's a really good technique for any shawl pattern. If you haven't checked out the Weave and Steven, definitely look that up. It is a great way of weaving in your ends. I am extremely happy with my color choices and my color placement. I did find all this yarn from Stash, which I'm super happy about. I'm just gonna continue working at my own pace, getting a little bit done every day. As Steven himself says, it's not a race. Embrace your own pace, right? So I really do love it, and I've been really enjoying seeing everyone's work on Instagram using the hashtag. Let me know how you're doing if you are participating in the Shawlography Mystery Knit Along. How's it going for you? Are you enjoying it so far? Are there parts coming up that you're a little bit nervous about? Let me know. But here is my progress so far on Shawlography by Stephen West. Well, that is about all I have for this episode. Thank you so much for spending a little bit of time with me. I really appreciate it. Please don't forget to give this video a like and consider subscribing. That would really mean a lot to me. And as always, let me know your thoughts about the podcast and any feedback you have. You are more than welcome to leave a comment below or message me on Instagram. I am at Knitty Heather on Instagram and I would love to hear from you. But until next time, be well, be kind, and happy knitting. We'll see you in the next one. Bye.